I got a promise to myself, and a promise to Jim Hanna. I can't wait 10 years. I don't think I'll be able to. This has to happen now.
Another turning point, a fork stuck in the road. Time grabs you by the wrist, directs you where to go. So make the best of this test and don't ask why. It's not a question but a lesson learned in time. It's something unpredictable, but in the end is right. I hope you had the time of your life.
The way I announced the closure of Adenalin Motorcycles with my post on my social media feed of I had a dream. The final dream I want to fulfill is one that I've been working on for 10 years where if you were to say, Scott, what's your dream? My dream is to build a vehicle that will support 8 riders, so 6 friends or guests, Stephanie and myself, and it will be equipped with motorcycles and paddle boards or a boat or whatever, and it will leave and never come home. It's like a tour company, but not, because I'm not looking to make it a hugely profitable venture to work with strangers. I want to work with people I already know and share the fun with them. And it's just so it's all sustainable. What I'd like to reach a point where is I have a lot of team leaders and friends that are all excited about what we do. And then I can work with other tour companies. I've been following along with some other guys, some guys in Ecuador, some guys in Iceland who do really cool trips. And I think it'd be spectacular to go and work or spend time with them and invite our friends to join us. And we would be like a liaison. So they would do the whole thing and we would just simply be endorsing it. We have a truck. It's going to be a mobile service truck. I've kept a tire machine, a lift, all my tools. So like I say, I'm going to have, it won't be my primary thing, but I'm definitely going to have a service truck that does mobile motorcycle service. I'm pretty excited that we're going to be going with a cooperative model again. It's going to be called the Adventure Cooperative. Mm-hmm. And for next summer, what we want to do is we want to test the theory out and providing everything in the world is functioning well enough. We're going to take a bus and do a completely bus-supported motorcycle adventure across Canada. And we're going to go from one border to the other. We're going to use a lot of the TCAT, which is an adventure gravel off-road Jeep adventure motorcycle track that they've developed all the way across Canada. We're going to use that as best we can for the interesting parts. We're going to kit out one of the rigs with a whole bunch of really funky suites that are super comfortable. So at the end of every riding day where you don't have to carry all your camping gear, there'll be a vehicle waiting for you, all set up with your nice comfortable bed and the locker for all your goodies, and you won't be sleeping in the rain and stuff like that. It really, it's so much less work to not have to set up your tent and take it down every day. Keep it small enough that you have your buddies. So you have 3 or 4 guys or 5 guys you like riding with on a regular basis, and you're simply going to just get them to come with you. And then you'll already know. They'll already be vetted. There won't be this wild card. I could cater this to just a couple, or just 4 people. And we'll just go all along. We'll be here for a week or 2 weeks, and then the next crew will be wherever that crew is. Because the ideal thing is that if we aren't burning diesel to come all the way back to Canada every time, then I can keep the costs a lot lower. It's not reinventing the wheel. I've already been doing it. Recreationally for fun, and I just want to keep doing it. But the great thing is if I can make myself more available on a time schedule where I don't have to be where I control my workload to be when I want it to be, and I can just go, we'll be away for 3 months or 4 months or whatever it is to do this stuff, then it's going to work really well. The sky is the limit. I want to explore South America. I want to explore Europe. I want to explore Australia. But for the first several years, we're going to work with North and Central America. Yeah. So as funny as so many of my friends over the years have come and we've prepped their bikes and gotten them ready for go up north. And I was born up north. And I'm not born, but when I was young, I lived in Yellowknife and other places like this, which I found really rather unpleasant. And I've gone, I don't know why you guys want to do the Dempster, but apparently I've missed the boat. And we're thinking about possibly at the end of next summer, I got a friend who wants to organize a ride to do tuck and all that kind of stuff. And I'm kind of go, well, rather than be a critic and having never gone, perhaps we should go do that. And then I can actually have an honest to God opinion about it. And, you know, if everyone says this is great, it must be something to it. Another contingent of why Adenalin motorcycles had to go away is unfortunately brick and mortar retail outlets, in my mind, are becoming, unfortunately, as hard as we tried, obsolete. The only thing the shop really offered that made it unique and you couldn't get it online was the knowledge and the service that we provided, hands on. I'm proud that Adenalin motorcycle succeeded the way it did. It was accepted the way it was. And as far as a concept goes, it had kind of reached the highest level it could. It was so successful that it needed to change. And I saw that as not acceptable. I saw that going bigger and being more like the big shops was this is the antithesis of the whole point of the thing. So we were going to have long waits, and that went against the whole structure of the customer service. And so it just didn't make sense anymore. Our really amazing closing party when we closed the shop here last weekend, we had a final birthday party for Adenalin, and it was a GoodBye party. And 250 people came through. And I would say more than 2/3 of the people that were here, I know very, very well. Like they're close personal friends of mine that I care very deeply for. And it was just like going from one to the next, to the next, to the next. It was, my heart was racing. It was overwhelming. It was super cool.
Yeah.
But it was like everyone was, holy cow, I can't believe you guys are working so hard. And it didn't feel like work, but at the end of the day, I was absolutely exhausted.
Yeah.
And it just emotionally and physically and just like from an attention standpoint, because I don't know, it's just so taxing trying to share something with everybody all at the same time. I'm super proud that we did it. I'm super proud of the way we closed it. I'm super proud of the way everyone received it. And I'm heartbroken and sad that it's over, but also super stoked and excited about being brave enough to make that jump after that dream I want to do, which is going to be a lot of hard work to get to, but I think totally worth it. As I've told a lot of my friends, I jumped out of an airplane without a parachute, but I'm pretty confident I can get one on the way down. I'm not naive enough to believe that it's going to happen, but at the same time, I really think it's an opportunity for the shops that are left behind to take a really good look at their moral compass and what do you want to be remembered for? What's your legacy going to be when you step out of the scene or whatever? Will you be remembered for being a positive source in the community? Did you help people? And so instead of having these, we don't work on anything more than 10 years old because there's no money in it for us or whatever. I'd like to believe that they'll soften those lines, and if we can help, we will help. It makes me smile. The people, the stories, like we were talking about the party on Sunday, where we're seeing all these amazing people. 17 years and the lifestyle that I've been living, it's pretty staggering, actually. It's like, how do you pick out, even one or two out of thousands and thousands of really great experiences and moments and stories? It's usually the ones you tell over and over again that come back to mind. Super proud of the bike I'm hanging out with here. In 2019, it was a pretty big year for me, and I actually participated my way to a Supermoto Championship, which was kind of fun. Again, I think it just comes down to the number of people that I've met that have become much more than just casual acquaintances and friends that I would describe as family. I was going to tell some funny stories about the hurdles that we had to come across to get suppliers. and how one of my business partners, we couldn't get a certain catalog. So on a wild card, he called the American company that owned the Canadian version and ended up actually talking to the owner. And then the owner, he's like, "Oh my goodness, Paul, don't worry, I'll send the guy right away. We'll get all set up." And then I kind of broke an embargo that was lifted, and we suddenly got all the catalogs, and that was a really great day. And I went and talked with Jim Hanna from Victoria Motorcycle Salvage, and a would-be competitor, and it denoted his character to go, "I'll help you guys," and the first products in our store from his store, access to all the catalogs we got through Jim Hanna. He got the cooperative model, and he was just an amazing man in the fact that he had a moral compass, and the moral compass was, I want to help people. Because we feel the vibe changing, and we can see that we're going to have to make some harsh decisions. And then we see Jim Hanna lose his business when he got evicted from his building he was in, had to close his business down. He wasn't healthy. And in the end, it was his demise. He wasn't that old a guy. He died of terminal cancer here just not that long ago. And when we spent a really amazing afternoon in his yard and telling stories and interacting. And my memories of working with a man like that are a highlight for me. And I told Jim that, and this is something I'd like everyone else to know as well, is, as I said, the loss of your shop and your presence when you're gone from the Victoria motorcycle community will be strongly felt. It will create waves that no one can predict. And the first wave is that I decided I don't want to go on the same note. Mm-hmm. I have other things I want to do, and I'm not going to wait till it's too late. And he said, go Scott. Go have fun. And it moved me deeply. Ken at Kenco, just an absolutely stellar human being. And I know that from the years that we worked alongside each other, and at those critical moments, like when we had Husaberg, and the rep went to Ken and said, "Hey, I want you to be a dealer too." Well, rather than, not think about what that feels like for another shop to either lose or be stepped on, Ken called me and said, "Can I come down and talk with you guys?" And he came into Victoria, which he doesn't do often. He came into my shop. And he said, "This is what they're proposing. How do we make it work?" A true gentleman. And that's been really cool. But yeah, to keep having experiences with people that show you that, do they have that? Are they a decent individual? Do they have that grit? People would come to the store expecting to be treated the way they do at other places because it was their first time here. And they'll roll in and they'll go, "Yeah, I've got this question." And I go, "Yeah, okay, no problem." And they go, "Can you look at this?" And I go outside, I go, "Yeah." And then go and classic one over the years, tons of people coming with a mild steel bent shifter or a brake pedal, and I would just walk out with a wrench and they go, "Wow, it's not rocket science." But I could have just as easily said, "Well, book yourself an appointment, come in," and I could have told you I sold you a lever or something like that. No, and they go, "I can't believe you just did that. You're not even going to charge me for it." I go, "Well, why would I?" Yeah, well, I used to joke when I was flat broke in the beginning of this, when I started this with next to nothing and I had to take no pay, and that on any given day, if I were flat broke, there were 100 people who would buy me dinner. And I was always proud of that. I was always proud of that. I had real, honest to God, people in my life that were like me and wanted to take care and do what they could to help back. And as we wound the business down, you can see that again and again. The offers that kept coming in. I go, "I want to repay you for whatever that little thing is that you did for me that I can't even remember because it's so part of who I am as a person." They go, "Yeah, no, that's okay. I'm just showing you something. I've shown you a magic trick, and now you know how to do it for yourself." And you're like, "Wow, I don't get that somewhere else." And I go, "Well, maybe that makes me foolish, but I'm happy to have done it." Then the other things, like moments when I'd pull into the parking lot in the morning and the customers were already waiting for me because, I arrive at 9 a.m., not at 7, like my friend Steve, who, man, I've never met anyone who is more diligent at being at work and working hard in that respect. But I'd come riding in with a coffee in one hand on a bike, and they'd be like, flabbergasted at these silly little carnival stunts of, that I would do, and they're did they just ride in and talking or whatever. But yeah, and then these are the things people remember that I don't remember. It's like it's just another day kind of thing. And,
So I think everyone has different memories, right? Like, I mean, I remember you opened up in here for me on a Sunday afternoon, to do a tire for me.
Yeah,
No,
I was convenient. I was nearby. I knew that you were in a jam, and what goes around comes around. I'm a firm believer in karma is what you create, and if you're on the right path, the road will come up to meet your feet. Again, jumping out of the airplane without the parachute isn't quite so concerning to me because I've done it my whole life, and there's always some way that if you are resourceful enough, the solution presents itself. Maybe another plane flies by, you can learn about it. I took the Rieger business program and developed starting a motorcycle shop. Even in that conversation that I had 23 or 4 years ago, I said, and every winter I'll go for rides with groups of friends and customers, and we'll go down to places like Mexico. It's always been there, and it's like now it's just get a move that no longer is the bike shop and this on the side. We're going to have adventures on the main and fix people's bikes if we need to top up the bank account on the side. And a lot of people say, well, why would they come with you every time? Well, there's a certain sense of security. But why do you go to the same bike shop every time? Because you know you're going to be treated right. You already know what you're going to get. Yeah. You know that you're not going to get bamboozled, swindled, not taken care of. So, and you might go to, like, the first time you go somewhere where you're comfortable with, and then the next time maybe a little less comfortable with, but then you discover, wow, that was even better. Yeah. And then you'll get that addiction that I've gotten right now, where it's like you're in the boonies of North Vietnam, and you don't know where you're going to sleep that night. And a little lady walks out in the street and she goes like this. And you're like, I guess we're staying in her house. And it turned out to be like one of the best experiences of my entire life, just from memories. Like, it was so raw and so crazy that to stay with these people that didn't speak a lick of English, and we didn't speak a lick of Vietnamese, and they made us dinner and got us plastered on banana moonshine, and the experience to, they sell that experience, stay in a homestead. And I wasn't interested in doing that, but we stumbled into it. Yeah. And it's just become more and more interesting. One of my favorite memories in Sri Lanka was when GPS led us on the merry path through the tea fields of Lipton Sea. And he had this place at the top of the country where he'd hang out and check out all of his, Mr. Lipton would check out his whole thing. But we ended up on the GPS said, this is the road, the shortest shortcut down to these waterfalls. It turned out to be 100-year-old cobblestone, like literally big boulder rock. And it was like an hour dual sport trek down this mountain. And Steph was going, and we're doing this crazy ride, and we bumped into two tourists from Amsterdam, two up on a Honda Dio scooter, and it's like they're doing the same ride we are. It was just epic, and I've got a great video that I shared about that. And so these are the moments that I cherish. So
you're going to be building more of them.
Yeah, and even right now, it's my biggest fear is, the world's gone crazy. Travel is something we're all hungry for, but is it, what's going to happen? We don't know. Yeah. And to shut this down and then get on our motorcycles and try to head for these places, and as best you can, you just try it and go with it. And either we'll get a tailwind or into a wall, one of the two. But,
I don't know. Who knows? I have a feeling in 5 years from now, you may be sitting back going, remember when we shut down the business in the middle of a pandemic and decided to become a travel company?
Yeah. And I'll be laughing either way. Yeah. Like going back to the original video, it's like where I was laughing that I started this incredibly underfunded business, and it succeeded tremendously. Like, yeah. And even if it doesn't, as we're now winding it down, it's just an experience, just
Yeah.
like all these things. And the friends you make along the way. I got a promise to myself, and a promise to Jim Hanna. I can't wait 10 years. I don't think I'll be able to. This has to happen now.
So take the photographs and still frames in your mind, hanging on a shelf in good health and good time. Tattoos and memories and dead skin on trial. For what it's worth, it was worth all the while. It's something unpredictable, but in the end it's right. I hope you had the time of your life. It's something unpredictable, but in the end it's right. I hope you had the time of your life. It's something unpredictable, but in the end it's right. I hope you had the time of your life.